Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If we stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities. If the passion's gone, we are doing it wrong. Baby, you and I should start living now, with the whole world at our feet.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our channel, Life with the Brewers. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you are new to our channel, hello. My name is Kelsey. My husband Jared is not in today's video, but we post a lot of cleaning videos, decorating videos. We do some day in the life type of stuff, and then just, fun videos all together. Today's video is going to be more of a serious video than anything. As you can probably tell by the title of this video, we're going to talk about loss today. It's something that's kind of been heavy on my heart, and it's just something that this time of year is hard. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to acknowledge, and it's just something that I want to talk about. But keep watching, or if you don't want to watch all of the hard talk stuff, at the end of this video I'm going to share some homecoming surprises that I did a couple of years ago. So stay tuned for that, because those are actually very heartwarming to watch, or at least I think so. For those of you who do not know, I come from this big blended family. I have cousins on cousins on cousins. I have tons of sisters and all that stuff. I'll make sure to link down below a get to know me video where you can get to know some of my sisters and some of my closest cousins. But my closest cousins, if you have been a part of our channel and have stayed up to date on our channel, just recently I posted my cousin Sierra's wedding videos, and her big sister is who I'm going to talk about today. Her name is Camry, and you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm an emotional person and I may or may not cry during this video, so I'm gonna try to keep it all in. But if I cry, I cry. I'm not gonna hide that. But goodness, it's so hard. It's so awkward to talk about. Oh, goodness. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I lived in Florida for 6 months. I did the Disney College program, which is where for a semester of school, instead of being at the University of Kentucky, I actually went to Disney and went to Florida and lived in Orlando and worked and took classes through Disney. So if you'd like to know more about that, or my whole Disney College program experience altogether, just let me know in the comments, because I can do a whole separate video on that. But just to give you just a little bit of backstory, 2 years ago, that's where I was. I was in Florida. I was by myself in a way. I had roommates and stuff, but I didn't have any of my family members or anything down there with me. And it's so crazy looking back at it now, how God works, how incredibly amazing God is. So a couple of weeks before I was due to actually leave the program and come home, I was supposed to come home the first week of January, something like that. This was actually a couple days before Christmas. My little sister Zoe, her mom, and Zoe's big brother came to visit me and to come down and stay and go to Disney and kind of hang out with me. And they drove. So since I was flying home, they went ahead and took as much of my stuff as possible. So the only things that I had left back in my room were clothes, food to eat on, just little things like that I could either throw away before I left, or things that I could pack in. I had 2 suitcases or something that were coming on the plane with me. So I sent most of my stuff home with Sarah and Zoe. So just the fact that they were able to take a lot of my stuff was absolutely just amazing. So they left for they left for Kentucky on the 22nd of December of 2016, and that night, shortly after they left, I think they left earlier in the afternoon. That night, shortly after they left, I was taking a walk. I was walking to Wendy's to get myself something to eat, because when I lived in Florida, I didn't have a car, and there was a Wendy's and a Chick-fil-A right there close to my apartment complex. So I was walking to Wendy's, and I'll never forget how all of this went down. I'll never forget how it happened, because it was just such a crazy moment. But I was on my way to Wendy's. I had gone into Wendy's. I was up at the front about to order, and my phone rings. And it was my mom calling. And my mom and me call each other all the time. She's one of my people. I love her to death. And normally, like, if I was, eating food, I would have ignored it and called her back later. And I was literally about to order when my phone rang, and I decided, okay, I'm just going to answer this. So I kind of stepped away from the cash register. It was almost like I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know. I didn't really know. But I answered the phone, and my mom is crying, and I instantly walked away. I walked out of Wendy's, and I started walking back to my apartment. Just when your mom is crying, you just, something's wrong. And so she's crying, and she can't even, get the words out. But she let me know that my cousin Camry was in a car wreck and had passed away. And I was by myself when I found this out, when she was telling me. And I remember walking, longest walk of my life, and it's literally less than a 5-minute walk from my apartment. Longest walk of my life back to my apartment. The entire time I'm crying. There's nothing else I can't do. I'm crying, my mom's crying. I get into my apartment, and a couple of my roommates were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and I almost didn't make it through the door. I walked in, and I thought I was crying hard on the way to my apartment, but I just lost it the minute I stepped through that door. Both of my roommates came into my room with me, and they hugged me. They asked me what was wrong. I told them, and it was just heartbreaking. Nobody expects to get a phone call and say a cousin of yours has died. Nobody, any family member for that matter, nobody expects that phone call, and nobody ever expects to be alone when something like that happens. And so my roommates were consoling me and everything, and after about an hour or so, I finally calmed down. I'm heartbroken because I'm by myself in Florida. I mean, yeah, I had my roommates there, and I was beyond thankful that they were home, or else I would have been sitting there by myself. But I didn't have my husband, who was my fiance at the time. I didn't have my sisters, my cousin, my aunt, my mom, my dad. I didn't have anybody. I was by myself. And I got a phone call that night from a couple of family members of mine, which I'm not going to name them, but they were trying to bless me with a trip home. But if you know anything about Disney, or at least the Disney College program, you can't just up and leave, especially if you're scheduled for work. It's just not something that you do. And at this point, this is a Thursday night. It is the 22nd, like I had said, and I was scheduled to work the next day, the day after that, the day after that. I was scheduled to work all through Christmas. So there was no way that I was going to get off work to come home for Christmas. And my cousins, who were wanting to bless me with a trip home, offered to pay for my flight, offered to pick me up from the airport, all that stuff. So they offered to get me home. However, I was scheduled to work. It just wasn't going to work out. And I thanked them and kind of told them I just kind of have to stay. There's no other choice. I have no other choice in the matter. But we were talking about it, and I finally made the decision to self-term. So the next morning, I get up and I go to work, and the minute I get there, I find my first leader, and the first leader I could, and explained what happened, and tell her I want to self-term, I want to go home. The loss of my cousin and me being just too far away was just too difficult to handle, especially by myself. So I self-termed, and I made the decision to leave. Of course, that meant that I was escorted out of the park and had to come home, and I had a certain amount of time before I needed to pack my bags and get out of my apartment. So after that, I called my cousins who were going to buy my plane ticket, let them know what I'd done. So they were more than happy to set me up with a plane ticket and all that stuff. So at this point, it's Friday, it's the 23rd, and they bought my plane tickets for the 24th, which of course is Christmas Eve. Alyssa had picked me up from my apartment. She helped me pack all the rest of my stuff. I had one final night at my apartment with all of my friends, all my roommates and stuff. We made a dinner, we hung out, we had a total girls' night for my very last night there. And then the next morning, Alyssa took me to the airport. Now, the plan was supposed to be get to the airport at, I think it was like 10 something. My flight was at like 10 or 11, something like that. I was going to be home in the afternoon. My cousins were going to pick me up from the airport, take me to this big shindig that we have every year at my Aunt Maria's house. And that was the plan. That was what was going to happen. I was going to surprise everybody all at once. It was going to be this whole big shindig. We had it all planned out. I get on the plane, and 30 minutes later, they get everybody off the plane and said our flight had been canceled. There was something wrong with the plane. So I had to call Alyssa back. Of course, the airport that I was at was actually about an hour, almost an hour and a half away from where we were in Orlando. So she had just gotten home and had to turn around and come all the way back and get me. And then the next morning, Christmas morning, she had to get up extremely early to take me back to the airport. So she did. Now, mind you, the entire time I'm at the airport on Christmas Eve waiting for my flight and all that stuff, my little sister Kiana was getting engaged. And I had no knowledge of it. Nobody told me about it. But I started getting phone calls, FaceTimes, all this stuff. They were blowing my phone up. They were wanting to talk to me. Of course, I'm sitting at the airport. I can't answer a call because if they go over the speaker, that surprise ruined. I can't FaceTime them because, of course, I'm at the airport. They can't see the airport or the surprise will be ruined. And there's just all these little things. So I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't answer. None of that stuff happened. I lied and said I was at Walmart. I couldn't answer a FaceTime. I was grocery shopping. I had a big cart. I couldn't talk. I congratulated my sister and all that stuff. And I wasn't actually able to call and talk to anybody until I got back to Alyssa's later on that night. So I got back to her house. I called and congratulated and was able to speak and all that stuff. But the next morning, since plans had changed, my husband was fully aware that I was coming home. Of course, like I said, he was my fiance at the time. He was fully aware that I was coming home. He knew what was going down. He knew everything. I didn't want to surprise him. I wanted him to know I was coming home because I needed that support, that encouragement from him. So the next morning, Alyssa takes me to the airport. He picks me up from the airport when I got home. And I laughed, I cried, and of course, like, throughout all these videos that you're going to see coming up here in a little bit, I was just all smiles. I mean, it was a heartbreaking time for my family, but the happiness from me being home kind of helped to counteract the sadness of Camry being gone. But Jared picks me up from the airport, and then we decided to start at my dad's house because my dad didn't have my little sisters. It was just him and my stepmom, and my mom and all of them were at church. And the funny thing is, I get off the plane, and of course your phone is on airplane mode, or it's off when you're on a plane because you can't have contact with anybody. I get off the phone, or off the plane, and my phone started going crazy. I had missed calls, I had text messages, I had Facebook messages, all kinds of stuff. So it turns out my mom and them were trying to FaceTime me that morning for Christmas morning. And I, of course, was on the plane, so I couldn't answer. Luckily, though, she tried to get a hold of Jared. She got a hold of Jared. She even reached out to Alyssa, Lindsay, all of them, and somehow they managed to all have the same story. Even though we did not plan for this, we did not account for this, nobody was given any kind of script of what to say. So they all kind of were corresponding and were in agreement that I had stayed at Alyssa's, my phone had died, and I wasn't home yet. Alyssa and me had slept in, all that stuff. So they had covered enough to where my mom believed it, and so she still had no clue that I was coming home. So we start at my dad's house. Me and my husband, we go inside. He goes first and he's recording, and then I come in, and it was just such a happy moment. So here's this moment, and of course this moment misses their initial reaction, but of course, you know, it's still just a beautiful moment altogether.
Oh. How long are you in for?
I'm here for good.
Are you? That's good.
I miss you too. Merry Christmas.
So we left my dad's house. We went straight to my mom's house, which of course my mom's side of the family every year for Christmas, whether we celebrate on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, everybody comes over, they bring breakfast foods, we cook a big breakfast. Like, that's just our tradition. That's what we do every year. Now, at this point, Jared texts me my mom's, and he leaves me because he, of course, has his family thing to do, and I was going to surprise his family later on in the day.
Merry Christmas!
Hey!
Well, hi!
Come here, I got something to tell you. I got something to tell you.
Merry Christmas! Oh my God, Cassie! Oh my gosh. I love you. What are you doing here? Merry Christmas. It's my Christmas gift to you, all my presents.
Madison's first.
I'm not worried about the sweeping because we're going to have to sweep afterwards.
Hey, put your stuff down to something to tell you. Lucky.
Merry Christmas.
I was wondering why we couldn't get a hold of you this morning.
I was on the plane.
I didn't even think about that.
You'll be home in 2 weeks.
Mommy.
You're just here for the weekend?
No, I'm here for good.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I just want to eat that. Well, how come we can't do the other surprise now?
That's okay, Cindy already told me that.
Cindy canceled her plane. She
No,
was,
she's
she
still
was flying
coming.
with you.
She's still coming.
Oh my gosh. Well, you don't have no candy because I gave it all to your sister.
That was what Daddy said too. I'm sorry to get you the candy.
No, we did get you candy, but we didn't get enough for everybody, so we gave. I was like, well, Kelsey will be here. You can have time.
Are you all surprised?
Did you sub it? Hey, Bill. Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, ho, ho. Now, we got a surprise for you.
What?
I gotta go to Papa's now. You too. Here, I got it.
Ooh, I was scared.
Start on the Papa's ring.
Merry Christmas.
Kelsey! Oh!
Well, we're there.
What do you have to-
wish you a happy Merry Christmas and
Happy
New
New
Year.
Oh.
Merry
I've
Christmas.
seen you far, far away, so I'm still
You'll
gonna
make
wish
me
you
cry.
Merry
Go watch the points. As a matter of fact, I can show you.
Oh!
Well, I'll be there.
Merry Christmas.
I like your wedding.
Come here, I got something I want to tell you.
Merry Christmas.
What are you doing?
I was trying to really tight. You don't want to go back? No.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Nana.
You were supposed to do that. You were supposed to let her just go up and give everybody hugs.
It don't matter.
I just got this on recorded. That was so funny.
This clip probably means the absolute most to me, for the simple fact that this is my cousin Sierra's clip, and Camry was her big sister. So this clip is just full of so many emotions. Happiness to see Sierra, sadness because I know that she had lost her sister, and I just can't imagine, I still can't imagine what that feels like or how that must have felt altogether. And so you can see the emotion in this clip. So I just hope you all enjoy that.
All I heard was bathing suit and I started looking.
I got Cindy on the phone. Say hi, Sierra.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to end today's video with just some encouragement to you all. Loss is hard. It really is. It's not easy to lose somebody you love, whether it's a mom or a dad, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a niece, a nephew, whatever it is, a grandparent. Loss is not easy. But if you surround yourself by the right people, the positive, uplifting, encouraging people, it makes things so much easier. I'm blessed beyond measure for each and every member of my family, for my extended family, my in-laws. Words cannot describe how thankful I am, how grateful I am, how extremely blessed I am. God works in such mysterious ways, and God wanted Camry home. God wanted Camry in heaven with him, and that's where she needed to be, was with God. That's where he wanted her to be. And we know that it's hard. It doesn't get any easier. This Saturday will be the 22nd, and it'll be 2 years from the day Camry passed. And there's still moments I don't believe it. There's still moments where I'm thinking, oh, maybe Camry will be at this birthday party, and then remember, it hits me like a train. Camry's not here. But with the love and the support that we have from our family, we can get through anything. With the love and the support that we get from God, we can get through anything. It's been a long road, and it's taken a lot for all of us to move on. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I encourage you, if you're going through a loss this season, just remember that you are loved. You are so loved. And just remember that if you're feeling down or feeling low or feeling sad, that's okay too. You're allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel, depressed or upset about the situation. You're 100% allowed to feel those ways. But just make sure you know that if you're feeling down or feeling sad or feeling upset about the loss of someone, reach out to somebody and talk to them. Reach out and see if somebody will just sit with you so you can be in their presence. I mean, it's just so important to have that support system, people who love you, support you, who are there for you. And if you don't have that, you've got God. God will always be there for you. God will always listen to you. God will always love and support you no matter what. So if you don't have anybody, or you don't feel like you have anybody you can talk to about the loss that you're experiencing, all you have to do is talk to God. And you don't even have to say much. He knows what's going on. Just talk to him. If you don't get anything else from this video today, just get that God loves you. I love you. Even if I haven't met you, I love you. But just remember that loss is hard. And if you know somebody going through loss, just be there for them. Be supportive of them. Love them. Show them love. Because they're going to need it. Especially this time of year. Especially around the holidays. They're going to need that love. They're going to need that support. They're going to need that text that says, hey, been thinking about you. I love you. They're going to need that phone call that says, hey, let's chat for a minute. What's new with you? Just remember that this time of year. So that's all I've got for you all today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We post videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's all I've got. So God bless you all and have a magical day.
If we stop believing we're meant to